Alright, I just thought I'd show this thing off. This is Snow King. This is something a little bit different from what I normally do. It's another Pachislo machine. Doesn't work, but I think it could be made to work. It was brought up to me by a good friend, Jason Field, so thanks very much to him. I've got that one over there. Excuse the mess of the bedroom. We are in the middle of decorating. That one works. So they've got, even though it doesn't work, it's got nice ornamental value. They just look so different from British machines, and believe it or not, they do function as nice presentation tables and stuff. Even if you can't get them to work, you can light them up and they look nice. But I think this one could be made to work. Now, I know a wee bit about these, and it's not going to be easy. There's no schematics, there's no drawings, there's not even manuals for these things. There's a generic manual about how you play the things. There's no key for either. I've got the lock downstairs, but I don't think there's a key. They certainly had to open it by an unorthodox method to get into it. I've been inside it already, and I know roughly what's up with it. But I'm going to have a go at fixing it. If I don't know able to fix it, then fair enough. It'll stay here as an ornamental piece. I mean, I'm already storing things on top of it. I mean, come on. you know what I'm like by now. If I can get it to work, then it'll still be a nice ornamental piece. As I find out amount of room in my house, and like I've got this kind of is my office space. It's actually the back corner of the bedroom. You've got to lay out this small bedroom a little bit weirdly to get everything to fit in. Where I had to give my son the bigger bedroom I used to have. So we've converted the box room into a sort of double room. But it does for us. So we'll get into this and we'll see what we can do with it. So like I said, no key for it, but to get into it, you can go underneath. I don't know how well this will show up, but you can reach in and you can grab that roller and pull it down, and that allows you access. Voila! So let's get this stood back up and we'll see what we're dealing with. There we go. She open. Interesting layout. Now, what I'm thinking of doing is, I mean, she's all here. She doesn't do a thing at the minute, she doesn't start up. But what I'm thinking of doing is, I am sort of wondering, if I could sort of power this up on a bench setup. I mean, I don't know how successful it'll be. I can't see. Actually, I can see some evidence of corrosion doodles there. I wonder. It looks like it's had some spill on it, or it's been in a damp environment or something, because a little bit, it's hard to see there, but there's a little bit of corrosion in a couple of those legs. Right, as I was saying, the plan is I'm going to take this board out and see if I can run it in a certain test environment. It is all complete, it's all here. Cleaned up nice as well. It was covered in mould all over the back of it, but yeah, it cleaned up okay. A couple of mold spots in the reels, but that's nothing we can't fix. It is in good condition, it's just a pity it doesn't do anything. In a minute, I'll show you the rest of it. There's corrosion there as well. Possibly. There's no batteries or anything on these things, so I think if it's got corrosion at all, then it's something that's been spilled on it maybe? I don't know. Anyway, let's get this board out and have a closer look. Here's a better look at it. focus this in a bit better. It looks like we've had some... There is evidence of corrosion. I wonder if that has anything to do with why it's not running. Yeah, there's some corrosion blooms there. I think what I'm going to have to do the rest of it is LE2080A Star Nova. That's a custom Z80 with a ROM and RAM built in. Sorry if the video's a little bit shaky. It looks like what's happened here is we've got a little bit of corrosion on some of these chips. And you think, sorry the video's a wee bit shaky. I'm looking at the same time looking at the camera. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this downstairs. I'm going to take that power supply out as well. I can disconnect it here. Yeah, I think what I'm going to try and do is power supply out. Take the cable with me, maybe. That's going to be easier said than done. I don't know. What I might try to do is just replace those chips and see how it gets on. I think I might do that. Yeah. I think the way forward here is we'll replace these couple of ICs that are bad. I mean, those two there, they're obviously bad. And like I said, there's no schematics anywhere for this. There's nothing. You're literally flying in the dark, but yeah, that chip doesn't look too great. Something's happened to that chip. Right. I'm going to get it going. I'm going to replace these two. I'm going to replace these two and see what happens. Right. Here it is. We shoot. It's out of the game. One thing I noticed straight off the bat is, yeah, that and that are definitely shot. Star Novak's LE2080A PA. Yeah, it's a compact Z80 with ROM and RAM built on, as I said. Right, how are we going to go with this thing? Now, I was disheartened when I saw this. You see those little grooves, the gaps in the traces there. I was a little disheartened when I saw that, but I've shone a torch up underneath. Those traces are still there. So I think we might get lucky with that. We'll still need to tin all that. One thing I do notice though is a distinct lack of traces. And I see all these blind side through holes, blind holes they call them. And that usually signifies that I've got a multi-layer PCB, and it looks like I have. Looks like this is a 4-layer board, which is going to be a pain in the arse to work on. But we'll see how it gets on. 4-layer boards are really difficult to desolder because you have the ground and the power plane, they're usually on the inside, and then the signal trace on the outside. Some of the other way around. This one looks like we have the power planes on the outside, and then most of the signal traces inside. But basically, cut a long story short, is you can't see all the traces. So you literally cannot see what you're doing. Well, if I can get it out, what I'll attempt to do is I'll get the power supply, the game's original power supply onto this, and I'll power this up just sitting on the table and see what it does. I don't know how successful that would be. I need to try and find somewhere to attach my 5-volt and ground for the logic problem. We could use the oscilloscope, I suppose. I basically want to see what it does just now. See if there's any common things wrong with it that I can maybe correct. And I'm going to be leaving this well alone. I'm going to be leaving that well alone. If you lose the code on that, it's game over. So there's obviously something going on here. These are going to have to come out. I don't know, could get lucky. It might just be only them, but I'm not so sure. So first things first, I'm going to take them out and clean up some of this damage and then see how we get on. But at some point I'm going to have to figure out a way to power this up. Yeah. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. I mean, as I said, there's no diagram or anything for this. At some point I'm going to have to try and figure out a diagram for it. I can kind of tell that we've got it's basically like it's done kind of Java video game style. It's all discrete logic mostly with a giant custom chip in the middle. But yeah. Now we'll see how we progress. Going to get these out here. I'm going to replace them and see what it does after that. I don't think this was doing much. I've cut the top legs. And it's already nearly off. Yeah. Corrosion's underneath them, but the legs were destroyed on this. This was falling off near enough. There's quite sizable corrosion under here. But let's get these pins out and we'll see how we get on. Like I say, it's a 4-layer board, I think, and the problem you get with that is you cannot see where all the corrosion is. There could be corrosion underneath in the sandwich layers. But the solder looks good enough, so I think I'm not even going to attempt to do this. If this is dead, then fair enough. Let's see what we can do with cleaning up this corrosion. Here. The solder mask actually fell off underneath it there. It's lifted. I don't understand where the corrosion's come from because there's no other damage anywhere on the board. I think one of these chips has failed and it caused the corrosion. And that can happen. I've seen that happen before with SRAM. Yeah, but we'll get these off. We'll get these off and we'll see what's happening. I must say those were horrendous to get off. The amount of heat required to lift them, these ground traces here are huge. I hate 4-layer boards. I had to crank that thing right up to 450 to get any heat in those at all. But they're out. The ground pin on that chip there looks a wee bit weird, but I think it's alright. Yeah, so looking in the camera, it is alright. I think that's just a solder blob. That'll fix itself. Cleaned the corrosion up a bit. Now, I'm not going to go crazy with it, and it's if I get it working fair enough, it's only going to be on occasionally, so it won't be too bad. Looks like a lot. I don't think it's. Like I said before, I do not think this is battery corrosion or anything like that. I think it's conditions related. I think it was the environment that was in before. And we'll see. So, put a couple of new parts on that I've got in. And we'll see how it goes. Right, new parts on. Just as hard to solder them on as it was to take them off. I still don't think they're quite taken through all the through holes. Certainly not through all the layers. We'll see how it goes. Right, so I took it upstairs. It didn't work. CPU was just sitting totally dead. No moving lines anywhere, but I think I found something. Don't know if you can see that there, but that is a direct trace up to the CPU from pin 1 and where that clock chip was. That was a brand new clock chip. I had to cut it back off. You can't desolder them. You can't desolder them. It just takes too much heat away. So there's no clock to the CPU at all, and I found that line. So now the fun begins. That is broken. See, I'm on continuity. That is broken. If I zoom in, you can just see there. That is broken right there. Right at the join of the pin. So what I'm going to have to do now is figure out a way to join pin 1 to here. Right to that trace. That's going to be fun. I don't know if I can do something where I can try and heat that pin there. You see where the wee corrosion blooms are? I don't know if that might be an issue as well, looking at it. Doesn't seem to have anything connected to it. That's a through hole going to the middle layer. That's going to be fun. But there's no connection here. And there is there. And it goes straight to here. And I believe that might be the clock pin of this CPU, this Starnovax. So if there's no clock getting from this chip up to here, this is going to do nothing. So we have to figure out a way to try and relink this, which is going to be interesting. Oh, by the way, this is the test setup I've come up with. Got my scope here, power supply there for 24-volt transformer, and I've got the power lead for the board. That's all I need to get this thing to see. That just connects onto there. So let's see what I can do with that. Right. There were, hold on, turn that off. There were a couple of broken traces under him. Now, if I look at a data line, what have we got now? We're doing something now. Just probe around various areas of the board. We're up to something now. I don't know if we're up to anything meaningful yet, but we're definitely doing something. And some of these lines have now got outputs. So the corrosion around that chip is definitely a problem. Is it working? Short answer, I don't know. I can definitely see some outputs going on and some activity happening. I don't know if it's doing anything meaningful yet, but it is definitely doing something. And before it was doing absolutely nothing. So I think the next step is to put this and this back into the cabinet and see what happens. Righty, it's all reassembled. Pain in the arse to get in, had to use a torch every time, every bloody time. Look, I don't think for a minute this is going to work. I think we'll do more than we did. Well, let's see. Contact. Holy shit. How is it you do this again? What? I'm stuck in odds mode right now. Hold on. I'm stuck in a mode. Let me see. I believe what you do with this is you pull that handle. And then that... Oh! Oh, come on! She runs! It's bloody well alive! Alright, wait a minute. Okay, so we're getting there. It's still not quite. I can put medals in. The tokens, let's call them. I can put tokens in. I can't play the game though because the reels just run endlessly. And one of them's not working properly either. Well, we'll get to it. See, you can put... Yeah, start again. Middle rail's not working properly either, we'll get to that. I can't stop anything. Wheel stop board isn't working. Yeah. But that'll just run forever like that, I can't stop anything. So, I'm suspecting that might be my next protocol. That doesn't appear to be working. So, that's where we've got for now, but processor board's alive. I mean, there's a couple other parts I might need to change on that board. I might need to go through some more of these 203s, but 273s, sorry, but the old stop board is, the processor board appears to be working. Just doesn't appear to be accepting inputs at the minute. Well, it's accepting tokens, so it's doing something. I think this real stop board's got a problem. So, yeah, that's all I'm going to do for the minute. It's certainly doing a lot more than it did. I'll come back to this at a later date. Try to familiarise myself a bit more with some more of the parts. And yeah, so far so good. Certainly doing a lot more than she did when I got it. The sound issue, something wrong up here. I suspect there's more than one problem wrong with this thing, but she's certainly responding more than she did. So, that's where we are for now, and we'll continue this later on. Alright, bye bye.